It may seem like a lot, especially since all of the charts make it look that way, but sonata form is really just the exposition, the development, and the recapitulation of a theme, or a few themes. It's called sonata form because it was used a lot in the first movement of 18th century sonatas, but also symphonies and string quartets. A lot of music over hundreds of years could be analyzed as being in sonata form or some variant of it, but it most closely resembles this model in the mid to late 18th century. While there sometimes may be an introduction, we'll typically start off with the A theme. This may also be called the primary theme group. Let's imagine this is the main character of a story. A book, TV show, movie, whatever it is. We get introduced to that character, and this is called the exposition. This theme will be in the tonic key. Our main character is at home. Then we have a transition. We're shifting our focus off of the main character, and at the end of the transition, we get the medial caesura. You really don't need to remember that, it's just fun to say. Here's another character. Providing contrast to our main character, it's creatively called the B theme, or the secondary theme group. It's usually in the dominant key, but if the tonic is in a minor key, then the B theme might be in the relative major. Not only that, it musically contrasts the A theme. That might be a different rhythm speed, or a different emotion. Then sometimes we might have a third character introduced who is called the closing theme group, which will close out the exposition. And of course, we like our characters to develop, so we've got a section called the development where our themes will grow and change. This is where the characters go off on an adventure. This section compositionally is a free-for-all. It can be in any key except for the tonic. What it does is it makes us miss our tonic home and long for its return. Distance makes the heart grow fonder. We can fragment or augment the themes, we can reharmonize them or add new material. The possibilities are endless. After an adventure of however long, we've got to wrap things up, and we do that in the recapitulation. We go right back to the beginning. We hear the A theme again in its entirety, back in our home tonic. Typically, we like our characters to have learned and changed, but they don't here. Maybe you're familiar with the status quo is God story trope. It's that thing when the characters look like they've just won the $90 million lottery, which would be life-changing, but just as the episode is about to end, something happens and they don't get the money and everything stays the same. The only real difference between the exposition and the recapitulation is that the B theme, which was originally in the dominant key, is now in the tonic. I guess that's something. Sometimes there's a coda. The audience thought the movie was done, but there's an end credits scene. For some composers, this might be a fairly lengthy section. They weren't done developing those characters and they've got a few more things to say. This video has been about the most simplistic definition of sonata form and not its nuances. Most theorists agree about sonata form at 30,000 feet. It has 3 sections, the exposition, development, and recapitulation. The inner workings of each of these sections have been and continue to be endlessly debated. Early examples of sonata form were more simplistic. Examples in the 19th century become so complex that they are barely recognizable as sonata form. A piece that follows this model that we just talked about precisely is a unicorn. Finding an example of the rule is like a needle in the haystack that is made entirely out of exceptions to the rule.